What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another auto show walkthrough here on the driveway, where today I am covering the 2021 Houston Summer Auto Show. Essentially, it's the Houston Auto Show, but a little bit dumbed down because the original one was delayed due to COVID. But never mind that. I'm over here with Stellantis right now, taking a look at the all-new 2022 Jeep Grand Wagoneer. So let's take a look and see what is now on the market for the premium SUV buyer that just says a Grand Cherokee is not enough.
Denim jeans, broken dreams in my pocket. Golden thing round my neck like a locket. Carve your name in my mind, cause you caught it. You caught it. You're golden, golden, honestly you know it. Meet under the street light right there, I'm so I could show you. You're golden, golden, honestly you're glowing.
Now, of course, you can't talk about the Grand Wagoneer without also including this. This is basically its younger sibling. This is the Jeep Wagoneer. So where the Grand Wagoneer is more for the premium larger SUV segment, this fits into the more sort of mainstream full-size SUV segment. I mean, you guys got to just take a look at this. This thing is absolutely beautiful. Sitting here in the dark cherry red. This one has one of the off-road packages available for it. This one also has the high-end Quadra Drive 2 all-wheel drive system. So there are 3 available all-wheel drive systems that you can get. You can have Quadra Track 1 or Quadra Track 2, and you can also get the Quadra Drive 2 with the updated transfer casing and everything as well. Again, I haven't done too terribly much research on this. This is actually the first time I'm taking a look at the Wagoneer and Grand Wagoneer combination. Sitting up in here, first of all, one of the most historic things you can see is the dual spoke steering wheel. Again, harking back to the days of the 1960s, 70s, and 80s when the Grand Wagoneer was really in its stride. But you look in here, you have a frameless 10.2 or a 12-inch radio. You have a 12-inch gauge cluster. The Grand Wagoneer will also offer a 10.25-inch comfort screen, not only in the front but also in the back. We'll get to see that here in a second. And we also have the rotary dial for the gear selector for the 8-speed automatic transmission, which, speaking of, unlike the Grand Wagoneer, which we'll see here in a second, this only carries a 5.7 liter HEMI V8, looking to make around 390 or so horsepower and just over 400 foot-pounds of torque, with a best-in-class towing rating of over 10,000 pounds, which is just, I mean, that is just insane. And also back here, if I can find the trunk latch here, pop that open, and look back here. Look how much room you've got in the back of this thing. Of course, power folding second row of seats and third, so we can go ahead and lower those. And suddenly your rear space gets a whole lot bigger. Look how much room is in there. Unbelievable. Go ahead and close it. That's, oh. But of course, the star of the Jeep stand this year has to be this, the 2022 Grand Wagoneer. And when they say grand, they literally mean it. As I said before, this is the type of SUV that isn't just for the mainstream buyer. It's for the type of person who wants to go above and beyond. And speaking of, when was the last time you heard of a Jeep product at all that cost over $100,000? Well, guess what, guys? You're looking at it right here. What we have in front of us is a fully loaded Grand Wagoneer. There are 4 trims available. You can have the Series 1, the Series 2, the Obsidian, which sort of blacks out a lot of the exterior pieces, and then you have this, the Series 3. Basically, a over $100,000 8-seat luxury barge, but with the historic backing of the original Grand Wagoneer namesake. And when you first get a look at the Grand Wagoneer, before you even take in the midnight sky metallic exterior, you have to take a look at the full LED lighting here across the front. very sculpted, chrome laced all the way across. You have nice little lights up here, at least on the concept, that went all the way across the top of that 7-slot grille. You have LED daytime running lights down below, park assist front and rear, of course. And then as you come around, we have 22-inch alloy wheels. Take a look at those. Those are absolutely gorgeous. And the funny thing you may notice is that around the outside, it just says Grand Wagoneer. Where's the Jeep badge? Well, there is one, but it's right here, just underneath the mirror. But apart from that, I mean, you have a standard gloss black roof on every Grand Wagoneer. You have the power folding side steps, which unfortunately I can't demonstrate on this example here because the vehicle is locked. This particular one is actually the prototype. There is another one that is open across the way where we'll get to take a look, or a better look at the inside. But just, I mean, look at the sculpture on this. These LED taillights, look at that. Sort of like a reflection of the front, just with a license plate bracket in the middle and minus the 7-slot grille across the rear tailgate. But man, just what a beautiful vehicle. And again, congratulations to Jeep on 80 years here in the US. Now, if you want to talk about a part of the Grand Wagoneer that truly puts the Grand in its name, you have to take a look at this interior. Now, one quick note is that normally the interior trim on the Grand Wagoneer for the most part will be American walnut wood trim, but on this particular example we actually have the metal upgrade package. So instead of wood across the dash, across the doors, and even here in the center console, that has been replaced with a turned metal. Now again, unlike the prototype, this one also has power running boards, but they've decided to retract for us. But just getting in here, I mean, guys, this is truly American luxury. And one fun note, would you believe there is over 75 inches worth of screens in this cabin? I wouldn't think so, but 12 inches up there in the gauge cluster, over 12 inches here in the middle, and 10.25 inches as a passenger screen by itself. You can also have a 10.25 inch comfort screen here in the front for your climate controls, and that also applies here in the back second row as well. You have 2 individual infotainment screens. I mean, guys, there is just a button, a dial, a switch for everything, but with some historical accuracy. So you have the two bar steering wheel here, stitched leather airbag cover. You have a 23 speaker Macintosh reference audio system. I mean, the technology in here just goes on and on. It's just absolutely unreal. In terms of the rear seat space, you absolutely feel like royalty when you're sitting back here. Captain's chair, second row. And again, there's that secondary comfort screen here in the middle, and your 2 infotainment screens for the back of the seats. Unreal. And if you want third row space, just push a button, the seat flies forward. Now you have space for 8.